Hello students, I hope you all are doing well. Now today in civics we'll start up with a new lesson, Directive Principles of State Policy. So let's begin. The major challenges faced by our country are poverty, illiteracy, backwardness, unemployment, and ignorance in many fields. Now, these problems cause hindrance to the prosperity of the country. So, some guidelines are suggested to overcome such situation and improve the condition of the countrymen. Now, guidelines are also known as directives, and as the heading of the lesson states, directive principles of state policy, which means the guiding principles which should be kept in mind while making or executing laws. So, now we'll see the meaning of directive principles of state policy. Now, the directive principles of state policy are the principles which has been laid down by the Indian Constitution for the government to keep in mind while making or executing the laws. The directive principles are given in Part 4 of the Constitution of India. There are 16 articles that deal with directive principles of state policy. The idea of directive principles was borrowed from the Irish Constitution. Now, these principles aim to establish a welfare state. Now, a welfare state is a system in which the government takes care of the welfare of citizens. And it also means that it tries to ensure maximum benefit to maximum number of people. The objective of welfare state are removing inequalities and economic disparities and providing equal opportunities. Directive principles of the state policy can be classified under following heads, so we'll study about them one by one. The first one is principles relating to economic equality. Now, these relate to the establishment of a socialist society. Now, socialist means a government which has a political system which is based on socialism. Now, here the government should strive to reduce inequalities in income so that wealth is not concentrated in the hands of few people. Then there should be no discrimination between men and women regarding their education and employment. Men and women should get equal pay for equal work. The working conditions in mills, factories, offices, etc. should be such that the workers do not suffer hardship. Economic and moral exploitation of children should be stopped by the state. The government should make laws to ensure that every citizen gets employment and an adequate wage. The state should provide relief to the elderly, the sick, and the disabled. Next one is Gandhian principles or principles relating to social equality and educational uplift. Now, these principles are also referred to as Gandhian principles. Under this, we'll study some of the principles. There should be compulsory and free education for all children up to the age of 14. The state shall put an end to exploitation of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and all other socially as well as economically backward sections of the society. There should be prohibition as to the use of intoxicating drinks, that is, wine and other drugs. The state shall devise a common and uniform code of conduct for all sections of the society. Promotion of cottage industries and handicrafts in villages, and establishment of Panchayati Raj system. Next is principles relating to law, justice and administration. Now, the judiciary should be separated from the executive. Now, executive is the organ of the government that is responsible for putting decisions or laws into effect. The judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts should be free from the influence of executive wing of the government. The institution of the Panchayati Raj shall be revived in state so that the political and administrative power is decentralized. Now, decentralized means the distribution of functions and powers to lower levels. It should be distributed. Next is principles for international peace. The state should conduct its foreign affairs in such a way that friendly and cordial relations are established with other countries of the world. Special efforts should be made to foster respect for international law. The state shall favor and encourage international peace and security through diplomatic channels. Next one are the miscellaneous principles. Now, every citizen of India should respect the cultural heritage of the country and protect historical monuments and buildings. There should be a uniform system of civil and criminal laws in the country. The laws must be equally applicable to all the people, whether rich or poor, high or low, educated or illiterate. Next, we'll see to the meaning of fundamental rights. Now, fundamental rights are essential human rights that are offered to every citizen, irrespective of a caste, race, creed, place of birth, religion, or gender. These are equal to freedoms, and these rights are essential for personal good and the society at large. Next, we'll see some of the points of difference between the directive principles and the fundamental rights. Now, directive principles are meant as guidelines for future policies and they are in the form of agenda for the future. But the fundamental rights are meant for the citizens. They give the citizens a certain claim from the state. If there is a violation of any fundamental rights of a person, then he can move to the court for its protection. But directive principles do not get such protection from the law courts. With this, we come to an end of our lesson, Directive Principles of State Policy. I hope you all have understood it well. I'll be sending you the question answers and exercises. Question answers to be done in the notebook and exercises to be done in the textbook. Kindly refer to the video again for a better understanding. So do take care and have a nice day. Thank you.